Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast, where we explore consciousness, creation, existence, and evolution from the inside with conversations direct with universal beings. Hi, I'm Michelle Vickers, and today is part 96 of the story of creation. So let's see who's with us today, what universal beings have chosen to share. So we've got the creator. And so, just so you know, while I'm feeling into who's here, that's where I'm slowly shifting from turning my mind off to completely opening my energy. And so, wow, we've got Pan. Pan is really present today, which is fascinating. And he is very much about um, primal fulfillment. And what he is saying. So our conversation in part 95 was he's showing me it was surrounding the concept of judgment. So really giving um, a perspective of judgment from how can I get out of it? And what he wants to do, what he wants to offer today is he wants to offer you the opportunity to see the potential of judgment, okay? And why that's important. Because when you begin to understand how judgment is poisoning everything you care about, you'll begin to naturally ease out of using it, okay? So it won't be this hard, I've got to look for it, I've got to find it, I got to see it, I got to overcome it. It will naturally remove itself from your experience. And that's what happens. That's why when you experience learning with universal beings in this way, what happens is you're not, this is why the transformation is instantaneous as soon as you hear the information from a universal perspective, okay? Is because you don't actually have to think about how the pieces fit together. You don't have to try and search. So when you're hearing truth at this level, what happens is your frequency and vibration changes instantly. You no longer want to participate in the frequency and vibration that was attracting that dynamic, whatever dynamic it is or was. And, this is evident through all of the first 95 parts of the story of creation. So you can go back and listen to it and try it as an experiment, okay? Because what happens is the moment you hear universal truth, this is not a human perspective truth. This is my truth. This is your truth. This is their truth. This is understanding there is only one truth. And so when you allow yourself to perceive it fully, okay? And what they mean by that is you basically become that vibration of truth, of that aspect of existence. That's the level that we are exploring here. So when they're sharing these truths, these pieces of information about existence, about creation, about evolution, about consciousness, what happens is your vibration is rising to become at the frequency that they're talking about. Why does that matter? What happens inside? Okay. So why it matters is because when we're created as humans, our frequency and vibration is attuned 100% to universal existence and the intention of your existence, which is for you to explore your potential. Okay. So you're actually consciously participating in contributing to consciousness itself. So that's how your frequency and vibration is attuned when you're created. And that attunement is stable throughout all of your existences until the human aspects of your existence in the last 50,000 years or so. Okay. And so what's happened is your frequency and vibration has changed. It's not a competition in the sense that it's lower or higher. It's understanding that the frequency and vibration of your cells currently Okay. They're aligned with whatever beliefs are going on in your brain. Crazy, right? So what happens as a result is your body is only capable of certain experiences. This is why you will dream. This is why you have seemingly crazy dreams where it's like, oh, that could never happen. That could never exist. That just doesn't make any sense. Okay. Those are the window into your soul of your potential. We're not going to get too deep into dreams today because that's a huge conversation all in itself. But what they're showing and what they want to explain and for you to understand and experience today is that your frequency and vibration is calibrated to your belief system, your current belief system. Okay. Why? Because you are attached to that belief system. It defines who you are. It defines how you think, how you believe in yourself, how you think about others, how you interact with others. And so what happens is everything is filtered through it. So if you imagine your pure high vibrational frequency that is aligned with universal existence, okay, and it now has to be filtered through all of your beliefs. So what happens is every time there's a belief that isn't aligned with universal existence, okay, your vibration gets clogged a little bit. It slows down. It becomes less pure, less clear. Does that make sense? It's understanding that the whole point of the story of creation, the whole point of the work that I'm doing and so many people are doing is actually to restore vibration to your own frequency. That's what we're doing. How do you do that? By clarifying the truth, by restoring information. You know, we've been told as a human race that our origins are we haven't discovered them yet. That doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't even make any sense. But it does make sense if we were told that our ancient ancestors were archaic. Well, that would make sense. Then we can hide everything. But it's not true because the reality is our ancient ancestors, us as a soul before this life, in all the lives we've had, right? So think about that for a minute. You are your ancestors, your ancient humans. You had those experiences yourself. They're all that information is locked in, it's encoded in your DNA. It's encoded in all of the energy, your frequency, your vibration, all that wisdom, all that information. It's there, just waiting for you to access it. And so what Pan wants you to really understand, okay, is judgment happens in the form of beliefs. It happens when you don't even think it's happening. It happens all the time. Whenever you find yourself saying, this is what my instincts are saying, oh, but that can't really be true. That's judgment. And right there, you're blocking your potential. This is the poison that is literally blocking you from reaching your potential. How can you reach your potential if you don't understand your origins or why you exist? Right. And there's the key. There's the key to every single aspect of existence that you have been searching for and you have wanted answers to. The truth is, your history is not hidden. It's inside of you, and your job is to allow that information to come through you, to come out. Where is it hidden? It's in your frequency. It's in your vibration. It's in consciousness. It's everywhere. It's not in one place. It expands and reaches across the universe throughout existence and throughout consciousness. So if there's anything you want to know about who you are and why you exist, all you have to do is start asking questions, start exploring your potential. The problem is you won't do it because you have so many beliefs about what does work, what can't work, what should work, what's not even true, what doesn't exist. So this is where we are as a human race. And this is why humanity is struggling right now. Okay. We are, again, in the dynamic, right? We have really three groups of humans. You know, originally my understanding was two, but it's actually three. So we have three groups. We have one group of humans who are dismantling the old world, and that is their job. Okay. And that is not my job. I am not part of that. They are skilled and they are doing their work. My job, okay, and like many other humans, is to create the future of human existence. That's my job. And that's what we're all doing together, all of those who know that this is their job. Okay. So those who are meant to dismantle, they have different backgrounds than I do, right? Their backgrounds will be in understanding corruption. Their backgrounds will be in how to take people down and how to safely, participate in missions. I know a lot of these people. They're fantastic, incredible humans. They work in special ops. They work in different areas that they could be a doctor. And they're actually the ones who are working against the limits of the system. Okay. These are incredible people. They're people that stand out and you know them. How do you know them? Because most of the time they're targeted by the governments, right? So we know that. And then there are those of us who are creating the future of human existence. Okay. So our job is to explore the potential of humanity. And in exploring that potential, what we're learning and what we're understanding is that humans cannot create the future by bringing anything from this limiting illusion, this strategy of control and manipulation. We can't bring it forward. So the biggest thing that we can't bring forward is judgment. And that's what we talked about extensively in episode 95 or part 95 of the story of creation. Sorry. It's episode 171, I think. But the point is for us to move into this next state of conscious evolution, okay? We have to create the future of human existence. This means finding new ways to participate that align with the original frequency and vibration of your soul in existence. They don't align with all the filters. These are the filters that have to go. How do you do that? By looking at your behaviors, by looking at the patterns that you've picked up, but also by understanding how existence works, right? You have to understand your origins in order for you to be able to create the future of existence. Because, for example, humans are self-healing and we're also self-governing. But if you don't fully understand how self-healing works, how can you create the future of human existence in alignment with self-healing? You'd have to go on an extreme, and I mean extreme in the world we currently live in, okay? But you have to go on an extreme exploration of self-healing. What does that look like? What does it feel like? And you have to be able to follow your instincts. This is not about following people who are hacking this and hacking that. This is about understanding that your potential is locked inside of, it's like a vault that is you, okay? Your frequency, your vibration. And what happens is you have a curiosity, a natural curiosity to move in certain directions. Your education was very strategic on an energetic level. Anything you experienced, part of your education, not just when you sat down and you had books and you were reading them, okay? Every work experience you've had, every relationship experience, friendship experience, community experience, home experience, everything that you've ever experienced has contributed to the vast amount of knowledge that you hold in this existence. And right now, what Pan is showing me is it's time to bring all of those pieces and bring them together so that they can start to cohesively work for you. Okay. And this is where most people, they're this person with this group of people, they're this person with this group of people, whether it's their work and then their family and then their friends and then their lovers, they're always a different person. So if you imagine that you brought all the pieces of yourself, all the best pieces of yourself, the pieces that make you the happiest, the most curious, that bring you the most joy. Okay. Joy doesn't always mean you're super happy and you're bouncing from, joy means you feel purposeful. You feel like you contributed to an experience. Because true joy is actually, it only occurs when you experience fulfillment. And fulfillment is recognition of you participating in existence, right? This is that purpose that everyone's searching for. Like, what's my purpose? How can I fulfill it? What's my mission in this life? And the reality is it's fulfillment, but it's your job to figure out what's going to feed that fulfillment. And how do you know what it is? Well, you got to start to look at all the parts of your life, all your experiences, all your relationships, right? All the past challenges that you've had, and start to cohesively bring them together. And that's what you do. But you look at them from a place of, where did you feel purposeful? It may not have ended happily or ended well, but where did you participate in a way that made you feel fulfilled? That's what you want to start asking yourself. How did you participate in your community in a way that made you feel fulfilled? That's really interesting. Okay, bring that piece out. What about in your personal life with your most intimate relationships? Maybe it's a long-term one. Maybe you've had many long-term ones. Where do you feel the most fulfilled? I'm not saying where do you feel seen? Where do you feel heard? Where do you feel what you're receiving? I don't want to know what you're receiving. I want to know what you're doing, what you're participating in, because that's where fulfillment comes from, guys. It doesn't come from what you receive. It comes from how you participate. And then guess what happens? Then the universe gives you everything you need. And this is the dynamic that's missing. This is the dynamic where every human has the potential to step into financial freedom, independent wealth. When you understand this simple concept, that every single piece of your life has value, but the value is in the fulfillment. And when you start to recognize where you have felt fulfilled, you're going to start to notice the pattern. You're going to start to notice exactly what it is you're here to do and why you're the one who needs to be doing it. This is it. It's magic. So that's what your mission is, okay? Your mission today is to start to notice, look back at your life, look at your story, your greatest accomplishments, your greatest experiences. Where were they fulfilling? What part was the most fulfilling for you? Was it the creative process? Was it the demonstration process? Was it all of it? Was it finding that little piece that was missing, that nobody else understood, and all of a sudden your brain was the one that went, ah, I got it. This is how it all fits together, right? What was the most fulfilling? Maybe you were raising your children and you started to understand human behavior in a way that you never understood it in your life before that. You started to understand the dynamics of humans with parents and children in a way that allowed you to create a new story going forward. These are the experiences that we need to create the future of human existence. All of them. From science and discovering, how vehicles are going to actually run on frequency and vibration and air, not on something that we need to take out of the ground. This is understanding that we are working towards purifying the human experience and aligning it with the frequency and vibration of our soul so that we can actually experience food, air, water, how it was meant to be experienced, not poisoned. That's where we're going. And the secret to getting there is you recognizing and understanding what brings you fulfillment, because that fulfillment, how many of you're probably sitting there going, well, it's just something I do on the side or when I have time because I have to work and I have this job. Listen, if there's something that brings you fulfillment, your entire focus should be on that thing. Now, if you still need to make money, we live in a world that makes money. You have to make money and you have to understand how money works. But here's the thing. If you focus on the fulfillment piece, the money will come. It will come because it's meant to. Because that fulfillment, the thing that brings you fulfillment, the thing you could do all day and never get tired of it, it's like a happy exhaustion at the end of the day. That thing, that's your special, unique gift that you bring to human existence, that you bring to the universe, that you are using because it's your potential to actually expand consciousness. Do you know what that means? Expanding consciousness means it's never been done before in existence, and you're going to contribute this new perspective, this new vision, this new whatever it is. You're going to put it into play in existence. That's what we're meant to be doing here. Doesn't matter if it's if it's something that's happening in your intimate family or something that millions of people are going to be driving around the world. It doesn't matter because everything is significant. Because do you think that the people who, are going to be driving those vehicles, well, in order for them to raise their vibration enough, maybe there's a part of them where they need to know that little information that you've discovered seemingly little in your family behind closed doors. Maybe it's just four of you. And you're like, well, it's not really important, but it's changed my life. There. That's a judgment and that's a poison. It's not really important, but it just changed my life. Really? You changed your life and you don't think that's important? Listen, this is where our culture sucks, to be completely honest, where we pick each other apart because we have sat there on our thrones and we're like, well, you need to prove yourself. Listen, if you still think you need to prove yourself, then we're going to have a problem creating the future of human existence. It's time for you to start to recognize that your courage is actually just in sharing the truth. It's letting go of the need to perform. It's letting go of the need to prove yourself. It's certainly letting go of the way you need to show up for other people so that you please them. This is your time to resurrect your frequency and vibration and bring it back into alignment with universal existence. Why? Because then you're going to start contributing to the creation of the future of human existence. Why is that important? Well, think about it. If you, as a soul, are the past and the origins of human existence, you're also the future. You are the future, and you're coming back. You're going to come back as many times as you want to. And I know there's a lot of people right now going, I'm never coming back to this experience. No, you're not. You know why? Because you're going to change it. It's going to end because you're going to change it. Every single human in existence right now is here for a reason. We're either dismantling the old or we're creating the future. And then there's a third group who are waiting for everybody else to do it first. I'll just sit. I'm really excited about it, but I don't want to actually do it. I'm too nervous to share what I have to share because I don't think it's going to be valuable. Listen, all of those stories, they're not beneficial. When you are aligned with the frequency and vibration of universal existence, okay? There is zero judgment. Universal beings do not judge. The judgment was introduced as though coming from universal beings through the religious system, right? And that whole concept of judgment, that's where it came from. Isn't that crazy? That life and death, and at the end of your life, you're going to be judged to see if you can pass, and go to heaven, or you're going to go to hell because you did a bad job. Honestly, really? I mean, it actually sounds absurd when you really think about that concept, right? And yet, how many of us carry that as our guide? And we carry the fear of that, waiting for God and the universe and Jesus to tell us what to do. They're not here to tell you what to do. They're universal beings. They're here to help you fulfill your mission. What does that look like? That looks like when you participate, they're going to give you new ideas, new opportunities, new inspirations to move in different directions that will allow you to reach your goals. They give you more information, but they don't give information to people who sit on the sofa, arms crossed across their chest, waiting for the whole strategy of the fulfillment of their plan. Because they want to know it's all going to be safe before they do anything. Those are the people that are sitting, waiting, and they're feeling sorry for themselves. And they're really uncomfortable in getting to know who they are and what their value is. So if that's you, I want to tell you that you're not only important to existence, but you're the only one who can actually explore and discover that importance and that of your existence and what you have to contribute to existence. And you're going to have to look. It's not a comfortable experience, but it is the most rewarding experience you will ever have. Why? Because it's freedom and it's fulfillment. Freedom from all the pain, all the suffering, all the anxiety, all the stress, all of it. Because you understand with clarity who you are and where you're going. And it gives you the courage to understand how you're meant to move in spite of whatever's coming at you, whoever's judgment or whatever challenge and roadblock that you consistently come up against. You're here to experience your greatness. And you're the only one who can actually reach out and touch it. But you got to work at it. So start to notice, look back at the parts of your life where you were fulfilled. But I want you to really pick out, it's not the experience in general that was fulfilling. Yes, having children was great. What part? What part did you love the most about having children? Did you love being pregnant? Did you love changing diapers? Did you love when they started to talk and they started to explore? What part was fulfilling for you? Because that's your magic. When you are with other humans, what fulfills you about that? What conversations bring you the most fulfillment? For me, it's really easy. People who ask big questions, not about their own selves in the sense of, oh, poor me, what do I need to know? But people who say, I know this about myself, makes me feel uncomfortable. What do I need to see so that I can actually come out and start existing as my authentic self? And all of those questions lead to aspects of existence, creation, and evolution. It's just how it is. So right now, you're going to explore your potential. You have the ability to do it. Just look back at your experiences and look for the experiences where you felt fulfillment, but you have to figure out what it was that actually gave you fulfillment. And you don't have to want to do that same thing that you were doing 20 years ago now. Okay? Like, for example, every single job I've ever had was customer service related. Okay? every single one. But it wasn't until 15 years ago when I went, oh man, it was really about learning how to interact with other humans, no matter what the situation was. Whether someone owed a company, a couple $100,000 and my job was to figure out how to get them to pay. Sometimes it was to help understand what they needed so that I could deliver it to them. The thing is, there's a story in your experiences, and it's your job to start pulling it out. But it's in the fulfillment piece. That's the key. Okay. So talk it through. You can put it in the comments underneath. Talk it through with me. Say, these are the things that I like to do. And then start to notice who you are today. Okay. Go all the way back. Like I have memories from when I was 3 years old. Start to think about the first human memory you have. That's also super important because that's the moment you woke up in this world. And what I mean by that is it's the first moment you went from that high frequency vibration of soul existence and you came crushing into your human existence. And you'll have that memory, okay? And it's a super cool memory. And it may not be fantastic, it may not be great, but it's understanding that there's a key piece of information there that actually is connected to your purpose. So you need to start putting all of these pieces together. And remember, it's not a straight line. You're not creating a timeline. You're creating a cohesive system energetically. Okay. So this is not like a strategy on paper. It's understanding that when you start to focus on all of these individual experiences, okay, they will naturally start to blend together very cohesively, energetically. And what happens is when you start to see the truth inside of yourself, right? Okay, this is what it is the frequency and vibration of your energy changes. It becomes more cohesive. It starts moving in a circular motion. And the cool thing is, circular motion is universal existence. Everything in universal existence moves in a circular motion. You won't necessarily understand that consciously or know that. But when we're in the flow, we're moving in a circular existence. Okay. That's why things happen where you're like, whoa, this is from my past. Am I having to deal with this again? And the universe is saying, look how much you've changed. Oh, and here's a little piece that you might have missed. So we're going to give you this opportunity to shift out of it so you can raise your vibration higher. That's why we move in circles energetically. And that's when you're in the flow. When you try to create something that is linear, right? Because that's, our concept humanly, again, here's one of those judgments, is everything is one after the other after the other. Linear does not exist. Time and space does not exist, only on the human physical realm. That is not aligned with your soul and your vibration and your universal existence. Okay. And so this is why we're bringing it back to the primal aspects of yourself. That's what today is about. Okay. And how do you do that? By looking for the fulfillment pieces in your life. Have fun with this experience, guys. It is meant to bring out universal awareness that's hidden inside of you. Okay. That's what you're doing today. So treat it that way. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. And share with me and let me know what you're learning along the way. I'd love to hear it. And I also know that when you share and you comment, you help other people see different experiences inside themselves. You help them recognize it. And this is how we need to learn as a community. That's what happens in my private community. We all are sharing together because when you share together, you trigger each other to, oh yeah, I didn't even remember that I had that experience myself. That's amazing. I totally forgot about that. That's how it works. Again, circular movements, right? We're always moving. Okay. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in part 97. And yeah, if you feel like this helped and you feel like you know someone who would benefit from hearing this information, please share it with them. Comment, let me know. Okay. Bye for now.